I hope half of these people, I wish all these people didn't live in Arizona, but I'm sure some of them do.
Some of them do.
I hope it's not even half of them who live in Arizona that spewed hate toward this woman.
Here's one from Chris Roon. Ban Islam in the USA. We hate your filthy death cult. There's another one. I bet you'll be a blast with constituents. I would vote to send you back to the sandpit. This is pretty awful. And some of them live in Arizona. Some of these people live in Arizona. But when you're running for Senate and you are a Muslim and you post something, as you said, so innocuous like this post on Facebook, why get so much hate?
Yeah.
Well, let's talk to Arizona Senate Candidate. She is a Muslim. She is Deedra Abood, and she joins us now on KTAR. Deedra, how are you today?
I'm doing excellent. How are you?
We're doing great. So you put the Facebook post up, and you get a response of extremely hateful things. Were you taken aback? Tell us your feelings on that, because, I mean, it was tough to read some of those comments. How did that make you feel?
I came into this eyes wide open. I knew exactly what this was going to pull out of the woodwork, and I was prepared for it. This isn't the first time, and I'm not the only person who receives this. And if everybody with a trait or characteristic that makes them an other receives this on a daily basis, the biggest shock is that the majority of the society doesn't realize that this goes on, that people live through this. I will agree that this was, in number, escalated very quickly.
Are you surprised that it happened?
No, I was expecting it to happen. I just didn't know when. And for this one, I didn't know why. Suddenly, it attracted attention. I mean, when I announced, we had similar for the first couple of weeks. The white supremacists got a hold of us when we went to a vegan restaurant for a meet and greet, and they even came out. They not only attacked us online, but they even came out and protested at the event with their white supremacist flags. So, like I said, that this was going to happen was an expectation on my part. Why it happened at this particular point, I don't know what set it off.
Deedra Abood, a Phoenix-based lawyer, Democratic candidate. She is also a Muslim, and she is running for Senate against Jeff Flake. Let's go down the conspiracy road just for a second. There were claims that certain parties would gather a bunch of people, pay them to go and protest at certain candidates' rallies and start a bunch of trouble. Do you believe like this is a concerted effort by small groups or small hate-filled groups, or are these just ordinary people that really don't like the Muslim religion? Do you think it's an organized thing, or do you think it's just people are just being knuckleheads?
It's a combination. When we had the event at the vegan restaurant, it was a concerted effort. They even had a Facebook page about following me and disrupting all of my events and attacking me and all my followers online. But you know, in the end, you also have people who are hiding behind their keyboards, secured in their home, happily to attack and draw blood on a stranger that they don't have to face.
Did you notice how many of those terrible messages came from Arizonans? Because we tried to look up some of these people. You know, one guy's from Florida. He wasn't from Arizona. He said, how about go blank yourself? And he called you a piece of blank. And I'm sorry we have to bring this up, but this is the story.
And let's make it clear that Deedra did not, say anything really about the Muslim religion in her post.
No, she was attacked.
She was attacked by bringing up religion, but she wasn't saying anything or promoting the Muslim religion in the post.
Another post said, nice try, your first love is Satan. So you've just got a lot of hateful people. But did you worry that most of them were from Arizona? Because what we saw, certainly not all of them were from Arizona.
I know for a fact that this does not reflect Arizona. I've been all over this state almost for 20 years, and Arizonans are wonderful people. At most, they're cautiously curious, maybe even concerned curious. But that does not reflect the Arizona people. And when we first started getting these, a little after 7 p.m. 2 days ago, we did look them up, and we did record them. We collected that data. Half of them were fake accounts. The other half were outside of Arizona, and there were a lot of Kelly Ward supporters.
Really? There were a lot
and Kelly Ward ran against John McCain. She's a Republican.
But you can't really
She's
blame...
running against Flake now.
But you can't really blame Kelly Ward for that.
Not at all.
Okay.
No, I'm saying just data. when we collected the data, when we went and looked at everyone's Facebook page from the beginning, a lot of out-of-state, very few Arizona, a lot of fake accounts. But even on the page itself, I support Kelly Ward was very big, and on their own Facebooks as well. This is not about Kelly Ward, but Flake showed leadership in calling out this behavior that does not reflect American values.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Arizona Senate candidate Deedra is joining us. Very disturbing posts on her Facebook page attacking her being a Muslim. Senator Jeff Flake tweeted, and you're his opponent, one of his opponents. He tweeted, "Hang in there. Sorry you have to put up with this. Lots of wonderful people across Arizona. You'll find them." What did you think when your opponent, Senator Jeff Flake, came out in support of you?
Thank you, and it's about time. We need more of it. I have the expectation that our elected leaders not only don't repeat that rhetoric, and some do, but I also expect my elected leaders to hold their fellow elected leaders accountable and say, no, that's not okay. And that lack of leadership has led to, not that this is going on online, that this is going on in the grocery store.
This is going on in the grocery store, meaning people will say stuff to you or a Muslim person in a grocery store? Is that what you're saying?
Not just Muslims, Mexicans, people who've been here generations are called illegals. Black people are called the N-word. Native Americans are told to go back to their country.
Deedra, a Democratic candidate for Senate running against Jeff Flake, the 400-pound or 1,000-pound elephant in the room is this has now forced the election for you to be about your religion. So how do you come these stereotypes that are generally wrong and very insensitive, that all Muslims are evil and want to kill Americans? How do you overcome that? What do you do to win this election?
I had that problem every day of my life before I went into running this campaign. This campaign is about changing the dialogue. It's about figuring out what we have in common. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about how to move our country forward. Let's stop allowing people to attack our family, our friends, our neighbors based on traits that they have no right to determine is American or not. We are in this together. We need that leadership. And I have already shown that I can change that conversation because we're having that conversation now.
With respect, I ask this question. Do you really want to win this election, or is this about putting your name out there? You are Muslim, proving a Muslim can run and have a successful campaign. Is it more about winning, or is it more about, hey, we're Muslims, we're here in America, we can also run for office?
Muslims have already run for office. Muslims are already in Congress. I don't have a point to prove. What I have is an American value that we can do better, that we can change the conversation, that we are in this together, and as long as we ignore the elephant in the room of bullies, we are empowering bullies by ignoring them. We are not having the conversations. We are not coming together. We are divided. And we can't get undivided unless we start talking to each other. And that's why after April 10th, when I announced, I have done 1, 2, and 3 events every single day since April to make sure and be out and talk to people, because that's what our elected leaders need to do.
Deedra, Democratic candidate for Senate running against Jeff Flake. Let's talk about Muslim leadership, because we've talked on this show before. Muslim leadership, to us, not Muslims on the outside looking in, we think they need to do more or get a message out there more. You're a leader. You obviously want to take the mantle of leadership on. But besides you, what would you like to see Muslim leadership do so these stereotypes don't still exist? What needs to be done across the country, do you think?
We are 1% of the population, and the only time we make the news is when there is a story like this where we're a victim or a story where we're the perpetrator. We don't get to be normal Americans. We never get in the news for that. Muslims are doing everything they can on a daily basis to be a good person, a good American, a good Muslim. We don't know how to prove that to you, and we honestly are trying to figure out why we're expecting anybody, not just Muslims, to prove our value. We prove our value every day when 150,000 Muslims in Maricopa County live good lives, take care of their neighbors, and don't do anything wrong or anything to disparage anything.
Deedra has been our guest. She's running for Senate against Senator Jeff Flake. Some very bad and horrible things written on her Facebook page about her Muslim faith. Deedra, we thank you for joining us. We're sorry that you got those messages. No one deserves that. And we appreciate you taking some time to join us and give us your thoughts. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right, and good for Jeff Flake. I mean, that's throwing politics aside and saying, okay, yep, I got someone who's running against me, and she's been besmirched.
Yeah.
So I'm going to stick up for her, even though she's in a different party, and I like that from Jeff Flake. That's a strong move. So that's very good.
It's very admirable that Senator Jeff Flake put that out, saying this is.